Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2 at Instagram. This is my prep show before I get busy and start doing shit out here. It's nighttime. I got my lights. I'm sure you guys can all see it. But for those who can't, this works. So, I got my lights. I don't have any weapons out here. So before I get started, I wanted to talk really quickly. Alright? So earlier today, I had some conflictions about revealing the studio that I had beef with way back in 2000. Alright, so apparently my dates were a little off, and the studio actually came in 1997. Now, I haven't had any luck in finding the commercials with the two people that told everybody that we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing that. And those two people was Tim Reed and Rick Young. Rick Young is local here. I'm not here to insult them. I'm not here to slander them or none of that shit. What I am here to say is Tim Reed pretty much didn't give me a chance to have my career take off. Millennium Studio promised us, and I think they're still working. They're under new management, so I'm going to reach out to them. But I'm going to make this video first and pray that it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. So I'm going to try and PG-13 this thing and keep it as clean as possible. Because you never know. They very well may open the door for me after hearing this video. So, the bottom line is really something. They came here with the promise of Hollywood East, which me being an actor, I decided, hey, I don't need to move to LA. My dad lives in Richmond. His health is not good. If I'm working in Millennium Studios, I don't have to go that far if something happens to my dad. My mom lives in Charlottesville. If something happens to her, that's 2.5 hours away. I don't have to leave and charter a flight. I can jump on the road and ride. So, here's Millennium. We promise you guys Hollywood East. They were offering screen tests to kids in Richmond, and it was all over Charlottesville news, you know. When we get here, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be the best production. Actors, you no longer have to move to LA to find your dream. You can find it right here in Virginia. That was their sales pitch. My dumbass believed it. With my entire heart, my entire soul, I believed it. So I went there. I did not have an appointment. Not one commercial starring Rick Young or Tim Reed mentioned anything about an appointment. And reluctantly enough, I spent the last 4 hours since the last videos I've made trying to find those commercials for CBS News and ABC News and NBC News. And I found absolutely nothing. It's like the video archive was burnt to smithereens or whatever. Which is okay. It's okay. I know they existed, or otherwise I would have never made it in the white LTD to Millennium Studios, only to be thrown away when we get there because I didn't have an appointment, and I wasn't a SAG actor, which not one of those commercials said anything about. I never even heard of SAG before I heard of Millennium Studios. Alright? And when you don't have any money, you can't just go and join SAG. You can't, because SAG dues are expensive. And if you don't have like legitimate acting work where you're like getting $900 for being there, you can't pay your dues for SAG, i.e. I don't have that kind of money, i.e. can't be a SAG actor until I get that kind of money. Somebody's calling me, they're going to have to wait a few seconds. So, here's the thing. Apparently they may still be in business because I've been doing research. So Millennium, if you're out there, I would like to have a conference with somebody in charge. Somebody who actually wants to make movies. Somebody who wants actors to actually succeed and actually make movies. Because when I went there back in 1997, which actually I showed up day one, and I was told, we don't make kung fu movies. A couple of years in, H.W.E, Expendables. Few Scott Adkins movies came out of y'all studio, but y'all didn't make kung fu movies. And so my mixed breed ass, and I'm sorry for swearing, was sent packing. But a gentleman met me at the door and said, you really want to make movies, son? Here's what you do. Go home and make me a movie. Make me a decent movie or a movie at some point at some time and send it back. I do not remember that man's name, but I thank you for giving me the opportunity. So I went home and I made a movie. It was called Fallen Dragons. It's probably somewhere in Millennium's archives right now in a big old VHS tape. Because I got some very beautiful college students to help me make this movie. I can't remember all your names, but the names I can remember I'm going to shout out. Louis, I could never pronounce your last name. Philip, who's Filipino, I couldn't pronounce your last name. Eric Chen, Adrian Cow, N and V Bowie, and Jay Diz, and Bruce Johnson, and the mysterious bad guy whose name I cannot remember, so we're just going to call you John. When I find all my footage, I will put all my stuff on my YouTube channel, especially my first movie, Fallen Dragons, when I actually was healthier and better. Now I was 27 years old when I started making movies, when I tried to get this movie at Millennium made. They pretty much laughed in my face. I also sent that movie to Sundance. I have a note in the basement somewhere where Robert Redford's crew told me, we don't make kung fu movies, and your movie sucked. And it did, because I didn't have the 14 people that I needed. You can't just make a movie with 14 people when you don't have 14 people. I needed 7 bad guys and 7 good guys. That's the long and short. I got maybe 4 good guys and maybe 3 bad guys, if that. I do know that Eric Chen and Adrian Cow played my bad guys. Alright? Philip played a good guy. Louis played a good guy. John was the main bad guy. Josh played a bad guy. And then the Bowie sisters, and it's 2 stories in one. And then there's me. You know, Bruce Johnson made a cameo. You know, it was all kinds of stuff going on. And here I was dreaming the big dream, Millennium, Hollywood East. Gonna make these movies, which would lead me to making another movie called A Clone Affair, which would lead me to making another movie called The Cleanup, which would lead me to making The Dragon's Breath. And I made all these movies that y'all have never seen because I was just knowing that I'm going to get into Millennium Studios, so these little YouTube movies was going to open the door. And everything that could go wrong went wrong. Alright? So that's that. Now, I'm not angry, per se, at not getting a job with Millennium Studios. I'm angry at the concept of you telling me that I don't have to move to LA to push burgers because I'm going to get work right here. It's been 20 years. And New Millennium Studio maybe made 3 or 4 movies in the 20-year span. And they've started releasing movies in the 20-year span. But now one of them reached out to me and said, you know, James, we're actually sorry that we put you through that. So if you're watching Millennium, I would like a conference with somebody who actually wants to make movies, because when I came there the first time, and I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm hoping that this is coming off polite, I'm not trying to be an ass, but when I went there the first time, before the young man told me to go make a movie, which I did, I asked him, I said, hey, can I be a grip? No. Can I be a cook? No. Can I wash the dishes? No. Can I be a janitor? No. Can I be a stuntman? No. Every time I asked a question about a job there when Mr. Reed was in charge, I got told no. Every time. Now, prior to that, I've been going through these casting calls, and I keep getting the same crap from all these producers because there's a list, and y'all don't know this, but I'm going to tell you right now, there is a list. It's not an imaginary list. It's a list that actually exists where whoever sends whatever are looking for certain people with certain features, and guess what? My multicultural ass does not fix the bill, which is why I asked you guys if I should just bill myself off as a Native American, because no one really believes that I'm black. So we're gonna discuss that in another video, and you guys can chime in on my IGTV. So as I move on, because I'm gonna go get my coat and I'm gonna start doing martial arts in the next video. But you know, I had my hopes and dreams set on this studio because I could have went to Wilmington, North Carolina, because they were still filming Dawson's Creek at the time. My dumb ass had faith in a black studio. My dumb ass had faith that Mr. Reed was gonna honor their word and make movies. But also I asked him, are you going to make kung fu movies? Because, you know, I'm 47. I can still get it up there. Just imagine what would have happened if they would have said yes when I was 27 and could do this perfectly. But I was turned down time and time again. And they started releasing movies that had people who could do that. But not this person. Was it because I'm mixed? Was there some underlying description of you got to be a certain race or a certain height? Because I don't fit none of those bills. I'm 5'3". I'm 125 pounds, maybe, soaking wet. But that does not differentiate the fact that I could be a very legitimate martial artist. But because I didn't get my shot 20 years ago, No one knows who I am. UFC turned me down because I was too small. Rec, Havoc, Pride, ISK, all of them said, get your weight up. I get into the Army, I get 135 pounds, I get a hip replacement, now I can't fight worth shit. So, if you're not going to give me the job, why make the promise of Hollywood East? Why shatter so many dreams and not follow through? So now, if you're out there, Millennium, New Millennium, whatever you're going by, if you're still functioning, I would like a conference with someone who actually wants to make movies, because I got 1,000 or so scripts in that shed on a computer disk in my room. I got a book that I'm working on with Page Publishing. So we should be chatting, because you want to make movies. If you're working in a movie studio, then you should be making movies because you're working in a movie studio. It's not there to collect dust, people. I'm 47 and I want to make at least one great movie before I die. I had a great webisode series, but some asshat stole that. It's sitting on their desk in Alabama. And if you're on here and you're that asshat, look, just send the shit back to 512 Rougemont. That's my actual address, Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm not worried about nobody showing up causing me problems, because I will kick your face in. That's how that works. Of course, if you have a gun, you might shoot me, but that just means you're a big-ass coward. That being said, I want to end that video for Kung Fu Havoc number 2 by saying, look, Millennium, I don't have a problem burying the hatchet, because we can start anew. I'm still young and healthy enough that I can still make movies. I don't have to be the star. Just give me a damn job. Enough said. For Kung Fu Havoc number 2, BC and you. Instagram, I'll be right back after I stop this.